Hello, welcome to the Music Major Meltdown. I am Sam.
I am Blake.
Blake, how you been?
I've been doing well, got into the sledding action recently,
Right.
shredding it up on the slopes. Go out, sled, don't kill yourself.
Oh my goodness.
I
Well,
almost did.
yeah,
It was almost a tragedy. I lost my hat, I lost my glasses. Wow, there was kids crashing into parents, parents crashing into kids. Oh my.
goodness gracious. Yeah, it's been a snowy few days. I've had a few snow days come up here and there
Oh, that's nice.
from
That's a good
school.
feeling.
That is always nice. I love teaching. I love doing what I do, but the occasional snow day doesn't go amiss, I would say. So, Blake, what about this? Favorite activity to do in the snow?
Oh, I said it, sledding. Well, really snowboarding, but COVID's kind of hurt that a little bit. But snowboarding. What about you?
Very
Any
nice. Very
snowman?
nice. I am a fan of making a little snowman here and there. A good snowball fight never goes amiss, in my opinion.
Too
I
bad you
think
can't
those can be
throw.
good. The snow we've been getting is pretty good for packing nice snowballs and
I'll
whipping
have to
them
keep
at
that in mind.
unsuspecting kids. I mean,
Maybe I'll bring some
friends.
over here.
Yeah, that took you a second. You didn't quite catch what I said.
I can just imagine Sam now sitting in his office waiting for the kids to come, a whole bucket full of snowballs and just pelting them all down. Kids, you're going
No,
to be
no,
late to class. You better hurry up.
no. Oh, no, no, no. I would never do anything like that. Oh boy. Well, yeah, but a good snowball fight never goes amiss. I love a good snowball fight. They're always lots of fun. Although, will say I'm much more of an inside type of person, so my favorite snowy type day activity is just to stay in and watch some TV, read a book, do something relaxing inside, stay warm.
Wow.
But that's me being boring. So let's jump right into this stuff. My songs of the week. Let's mix it up a little bit. Before I even say what they were, what did you think? Just give me like good, bad, mid-range, set it up, see if there's going to be conflict between us, see if what the audience has to look forward to as I talk.
Well, they sucked. No, no. I actually really enjoyed. I enjoyed these songs by unnamed artists. I thought one of them was exactly what I was expecting it to be. The other one I was not expecting the vocal range, the type of music this person was performing. I was genuinely surprised from what I heard, and I enjoyed it. So congratulations, Sam.
All right, victory is mine. So let me jump in with this. My artist of the week, just in general, is an artist you're probably not too familiar with by the name of Rag'n'Bone Man. That's
Rag'n'Bone
rag
Man.
apostrophe n apostrophe, so like a shortened version of and. Rag'n'Bone Man.
It's like
Bone
Guns
Man.
N' Roses.
Yeah, exactly, exactly. Like the way they spell Guns N' Roses, except it's Rag and Bone Man. And the two songs I picked are called Love You Any Less and Wolves. Now, I'm going to start with Love You Any Less. This is just, I think, a really gorgeous song. Very slow, very melancholic, you could even say. Very just simple piano part, plunking out a few chords. Nothing too fancy, gets a little bit of like a bass hum going through it. Very like, I almost say like ethereal. Almost every sound echoes a little bit in it as you hear it. And I mean, the lyrics just come through, sung so beautifully. Rag and Bone Man is just the one guy, and he has this gorgeous, like baritone tenory voice. Would you agree on that, Blake? Like
Yes, exactly.
baritone tenor, like he's not quite all the way down at baritone, but he's also
Yeah.
not really like a high tenor voice.
Probably a nice tenor too.
Yeah, yeah, down there. It's a real nice range for a male voice to have. And it's just so gorgeous. Like it sounds almost like it could be a breakup song. Like musically, it's so like down. It feels almost very down. But as you listen more to the lyrics, you realize it's not down, it's just peaceful.
Yeah.
Where the chorus of the song goes, it will basically, it won't make me love you any less. Not quite this, that's not quite the whole chorus, but that is the main song. Love you any less won't make me love you any less. No
Okay. So
matter
I
what
heard it.
happens to
I thought it
you.
was "Don't make me love you any less." That changes
Yeah,
it for me. Yeah.
it won't make me love you any less. You're strong enough to face the fall. If you're hoping we'll be home, don't be afraid to ask for help. It won't make me love you any less. You're strong, like I said, you're strong enough to face the fall. There's nothing you can say or do. I won't cut you loose. No. So break the silence. We know we can brave it all. It's no matter what you're going to tell me, it won't make me love you any less. No matter what you've done, what you will do, I love you. Doesn't matter what you're going to say. It won't make me love you any less. I could just repeat that over and over. I just find that message so peaceful, so uplifting, gorgeously sung, gorgeous tracking with it. I love it. Blake, specific thoughts on this song?
You're gonna think this is a weird comment, but I imagine Rag'n'Bone Man as if Sam Smith was a woodsman, like the gruffy, grisly version of Sam Smith.
I'm actually kind of with you on that. Like Sam Smith has that more definitely way in like a higher tenor, almost even like an alto even type of
Yeah.
voice. But musical content wise, it's like this is just the slightly more grisly version of what Sam Smith does. Oh man, but yeah, I like that
Yeah,
grizzled.
I like it. Like I said, I wasn't really expecting that to come out of him. Like not to say that I wouldn't think he had the talent to pull it off. It just doesn't necessarily seem like the type of music he might have been interested in. Especially with hearing the other song, which is exactly what I thought we would get out of Rag'n'Bone Man. But yeah, it's a
So
very peaceful ballad. It's a yeah, it's a heartfelt, down to earth ballad that
yeah,
doesn't feel cliched.
yeah, exactly. I feel like content wise in this song, it's very, I don't want to say super unique because there are songs that have kind of covered the same content as this before as well. But this one just does it in a like it's from a sort of like a guy who for one looks like just such a man's man type person. I mean, you want to get that lumberjack image even more of Grizzled. This is like pretty like bigger type guy. Most of the pictures I see him in, he's usually wearing like flannel or some like leathery type
Perfect.
thing or something, and just a gorgeous massive beard.
Yes.
Like full on, like all the way out, full like foot long beard. And yet he comes out, you see that, and you think, man, this is gonna be like ZZ Top. But this
I don't
is
know if I thought that. I definitely that.
I get a little bit of a ZZ Top vibe, but then you hear him actually sing, and he has this just soulful, beautiful voice. And this song matches that soulful feeling. And yeah, just absolutely gorgeous. I love this song. Fantastic listen. I'm glad you enjoyed it as well. And you're right, it does have a little bit of when you hear a guy by the name of Rag'n'Bone Man, you wouldn't expect such a heartfelt song to come from him.
No.
But
That's the
that
beauty
then
of music.
leads into the next song, which is Wolves. Which now this is a song you hear a guy by the name of Rag'n'Bone Man, you're gonna listen to this song and it makes sense.
Yeah, it's just
Basically what I'm saying. And this song, I mean, music wise, it's just like so intense, like so like deep and dark and like brooding and rumbling and all sorts of things. Like really when I listen to this song, it just like fuels my like energy and fuels my like oh my god, like I hesitate to say this, but I'm gonna go there. It just feels uber masculine. Like
masculine, yeah.
Like it just exudes this like masculine energy of like, it just feels like this is a little bit of an over stereotyped way to say it, but it's just so masculine, deep, dark, almost brooding, almost angry, like he's about to explode explode in his rage, but he keeps it contained in the chorus.
Oh, yeah.
That he has this sort of like cool vocal opening, mainly just voices and a little bit of like rhythm, perhaps on the rim of a snare drum. And then the snare, the full drum set comes in and you get this cool sound with all of it. And then he just goes into this. I mean, just this first verse is kind of gorgeous lyrically and kind of gets to the point I'm trying to make. I don't want to drown no more. I'm sick of the same old people, the kind that will sell your soul, trade it for a shining stone. Ain't nothing in this life for free, running from the greatest evil. Finally gone on me. A man's got to fight temptation. And it just keeps building and building and building out. And man's got to fight temptation. And then this intense bass just drops in that just hums. Like, I know in my car with my bass that I have in the car, not super intense bass, but it shakes the whole car. Then the chorus, keep the wolves from the door. I hear them scratching like I don't know better. Once you keep the wolves from the door, it won't be long before I cave in and open up and then it cuts him off before he says door. Until the very last version of the chorus where he does actually say door. But it's just this feeling of like, he can feel this anger and his pain just like rumbling within him. And it feels like wolves howling at the door, knows he can't let that anger out. And then we get this cool release moment where it then goes back into a verse, but then it builds and builds and builds, and the verse drops back in the chorus like he's about to explode. It's rumbling like about to explode. And then we get that same break and it comes back in again. Now, this version, I went with, there's sort of two versions of this song out there. There's one from his, I believe it's his first album. It for sure is his most popular album to date. That is just him in the song. But the version I picked is from an earlier EP where this was the title song of this EP, which features a guy by the name of Stig of the Dump, which is a very strange name for an artist, but I'm not here to judge that. And I like this version just a little bit better because the version Rag'n'Bone Man sings in this, in place of the rap verse, he does this kind of like slower type of thing, which I like. I think it's still good, but the rap is so much better, so much deeper, like brings a new perspective on that quiet sort of like keeping your rage in, brings a new perspective to it, which I think makes it a little bit better, a little bit just more diverse of the song. So both songs, you'll get the same message, you'll get sort of the same feeling from it, but I would recommend the version from the EP, which is sort of this red cover with a wolf on it. The one featuring Stig of the Dump, I think the rap is just a little bit better in that one.
So this man lives in a dump is basically what he's saying.
I don't know enough details about him to know if he is broadcasting his living situation.
The dump, or maybe his house is named the dump. I don't know.
I mean, I can't say this with certainty, but what I can maybe even theorize is if you listen to the version with the rap in it, right?
Yes, that's the only one I listen to.
What I might theorize with him, if you kind of listen to the rap, he talks a lot about his home situation growing up. And it sounds like he has a lot of like fondness for his home, but he acknowledges a lot of the problems that he faced growing up in that home. So he might, I'm not saying I don't know enough about this artist. I didn't do a ton of research into him with the rap because I think Rag'n'Bone Man is really my focus for the week because he has a lot of great music out there that I think goes undiscovered. But if I'm just theorizing on Stig of the Dump, he might be referencing back to his home situation, which was kind of rough as he described it. He mentions lots of drug situations and sort of strange people that he knew were not the best influences kind of always being around in his places.
I always find that interesting when songs feature rappers because a lot of times they don't necessarily stick with the theme of the original song. They kind of like when they throw their own flair into it, a lot of times the lyrics center around themselves and then like they get back into the song somehow, but it's almost like an interlude.
Yeah, yeah, it's like they're telling a story that's like if you have the generic theme here, it's like the main artist went this way and like most of the song is over here. But the rap artist, in many cases, not every case,
Yeah.
takes like starts from that main theme, but takes it a different direction, then kind of circles back to the main theme to connect back to the main song. And I think that's kind of the case here, where it's not you get a very different story than in the rest of the song, but that's kind of what I think we're looking for, because I mean, you're getting two very different perspectives in the song, and then yeah, sort of like two for the price of one. It's a 2-for-1 deal.
Wow. Isn't
I
that special? What a bargain.
know. Oh man. So yeah, Blake, I'm really glad you liked these two songs. I'm
Yeah,
glad to
I thought,
hopefully you discovered a new artist this week
yeah,
to keep exploring.
I thought Wolves was a very like, kind of your bluesy, like stereotypical man song. Like the bros can listen to this song and just jam out. It's kind of, yeah, it's the vibe it gave me. It's just got this good blues vibe. Also, I'm kind of surprised you didn't talk about this. It's mostly vocals. It's not really anything else. There's not a lot of instrumentation to it.
Yeah.
They're almost, I don't know if Rag'n'Bone Man layers his vocals together to create the percussion, but it kind of sounds like he is. And the whole like beat and vibe of the song is really just created with vocals and very slight instrumentation in the background. But he carries most of the song forward with scat, basically.
Yeah, he really does do that really well on this one. Like lots of cool sounds and like sung parts that kind of layer in the harmony more than anything else. It's really cool, and I love the full vocal or more not quite fully a cappella, because I think generally the drum set is I would say still a drum set,
Sure.
still holds that sound, and then the bass type sound that comes in I think is probably, I'm going to guess, an artificial bass sound, not like from a bass guitar or even an electric bass guitar. But I don't think that matters as much, because it's less of a specific note or a specific skill type thing you need, and more of a like creates the atmosphere well of like going from this sort of like bubbling anger into like as if the sun just went out and it's just dark. I get this image of like with the wolves at the door, just in this wood cabin in the middle of nowhere, with like hearing the wolves snarling and gnawing, pawing at the door, and like everything's dark and he's just focused on the door about to open it, let the wolves in, let the anger in and take over, but doesn't quite let himself. But the other song that I wanted to bring up, there's a song he has, and oh man, I don't remember what the name of the song was. I'm going to look it up really fast. It's from the album Human. He has a song that is actually like entirely, the whole song is just him singing. There, and not as in he layered his vocals. It's just purely the melody on its own is the entire song.
Okay. So
and it's a really, really cool song to listen to. Oh goodness. I think it's Die Easy. The song is called Die Easy. It feels like little bit almost like not quite like a Sailor's song, but you're getting kind of that vibe. But like he's just singing this gorgeous melody to nobody. There's no instruments, no other voices, no voice layering. It's just him singing the song, and it's gorgeous. So sort of as a third mini recommendation from me, Die Easy. If you especially just like his voice, it's a gorgeous song. So Rag'n'Bone Man, go check them out. All our Music Major Meltdown listeners out there, go check it out. Really, really good stuff. Lots of good music that he's put out.
Yep, I do a playlist every week if you guys don't know. So go check out all of our artists on Spotify. If you just search up Blake Derby on Spotify, or if you click the link at the in our description in YouTube, then you will find that playlist. So
absolutely. Blake, what'd you bring to the table?
I think people are going to be genuinely shocked about this. Unlike your artist, my artist is a superstar on the international level. I chose Adele. I think
Who is that? No,
who's Adele?
Who's Adele? Never heard of her before.
No, I think
album. What?
I think people would be surprised. Maybe that I listen to Adele, but I really do enjoy Adele. I first discovered Adele probably like many people with the album 21 and Rolling in the Deep, but I decided to pick 2 tracks from her debut album because I feel like we don't talk about it a lot in the US, especially because most of the songs from it didn't chart. So the songs I have chosen today are Cold Shoulder and Right as Rain. I'm very excited about both of them. I don't really, so first off, let me just talk about the lyrics because I might not spend too long on them. They're both kind of just about heartbreak or getting over heartbreak, feeling confident after being in a bad relationship and like gaining confidence in yourself, but also like just the after effects and dealing with all of that. And so I don't really connect much to them. Like that's not a very big facet of my life. I just really enjoy the sound of them. Adele sings with a lot of soul. She has one of the most unique and recognizable voices in pop music. I think anybody would agree with that. And so what I love about Right as Rain first, it's amazing what she did. Like she wrote this when she was 19. She wrote this album, obviously. And Right as Rain is this soulful, it's got this little jazzy, over-tinged piano that's really wonderful. And she kind of sings a little bit, what's the word for it? Sultry? I don't even know if that's right. But
kinda. I see where you're going with that.
Yeah.
It's very like kind of like you said, it's very soulful, and I think a big part of it is her British accent comes through. Like a lot of artists like from around the world, like there's many singers where you wouldn't be able to tell if they're American or British because singing wise, American and British accents kind of go away. But she doesn't hide her British accent, which I think is really cool.
And her inflection in the song is great. Like you almost like would assume she's like she is talking to somebody in the song, and her inflection is like she's having a conversation with them while singing. So some of her singing is a little bit snarky and snide, like to kind of tell the person off. And that inflection she adds in it is awesome because it makes Adele seem like the baddest woman in the world when she's singing this song. I love it. I absolutely love it. At the age of 19, too, nonetheless. So yeah, it's just got this really soulful piano. It's just it's kind of a simple chorus and melody, but it's performed so ridiculously well. So that one's just a great song. The other one, Cold Shoulder, was interesting why they recorded it the way they did. So originally it didn't have a lot of instrumentation to it, which obviously is not how the final track panned out. And Cold Shoulder, Adele really wanted to have like a clubby, more dance type track on the album. So she requested that Mark Ronson come in and produce the song for her. At the age of 19, she requested, she's like, I want Mark Ronson. And Mark Ronson came and did it.
That's awesome.
Yes, super awesome. And you can tell it's very percussive. There's a lot of different drums and bells and things going on. Is there a xylophone at one point? There might be. I don't know for sure, but anyways, It's just very percussive, and she's got a lot of orchestration or surrounding her, just creating this aural audio effect. And when she gets to the chorus, then you also hear this strumming guitar that's more percussive than anything. It acts like another drum with a tone than it does really a guitar. And so it does end up making this soulful Adele song turn into a dance clubby type number, like probably the most dance type thing she's ever done, because that's not really like you don't necessarily go to a club and hear an original Adele song, not the original, maybe a remix, but this one could fit somewhere. And I think it shows her prowess as an artist even back then, that this excuse me, that this bluesy soulful singer can make something that sounds like a dance track. And then it has this like kind of little doo-wop, like little barbershop, like vocal harmonization, little interlude in the middle of it where she's harmonizing with herself. That kind of just enters another world into the song for like a couple measures and then right back into the clubbiness of it. Again, just showcasing her artistry. Sam, tell me what you think of these songs. I love Adele. I love Adele.
Oh man, I'm not surprised at all or shocked at all that you're a fan of Adele, because quite frankly, I am too. Adele, I think, is a wonderful
More reason
artist.
you're shocked.
Yeah, she just is wonderful, and she does fantastic work. I think she writes gorgeous songs. She makes gorgeous songs, puts them out there. I mean, yeah, we as Americans got kind of introduced to her on her second album. I mean, Rolling in the Deep was a hugely popular song. And let's not forget the memeable Hello that came out. I mean, which honestly, if for no other reason than the music video itself was just so like deep and dark, it got so memed up, but still another gorgeous song. But yeah, this first album has a lot of really great jams on it that I think go undiscovered and forgotten a lot when people are fans of Adele. And so these two songs, I mean, I give them both a big old win. I think they are fantastic. They're fun. They're upbeat. I love lyrically how it kind of, they're breakup songs, but they're not the like very like low and down, like, oh, I'm so sad, I lost my partner. It's all just like, yeah, you're gone, you're out of my life, but goodbye, I'm done. Like, I don't need you, I'm moving on. And I love that sound. I think it makes for a great, I mean, just a positive message in that end or in that respect. But yeah, fantastic, good choices. Double win from me. I think they're fantastic. Love me some Adele.
So the one thing I did want to bring up, Sam and I coincidentally both chose British artists, and it's just the difference of Adele is now a massive pop superstar, and Rag'n'Bone Man is popular in the UK in his own right. But I kind of wanted to explore, why is that the case? Why does Adele have the marketability she does and Rag'n'Bone Man doesn't? And really, it's not talent. It's not the quality of work. It's not the effort they put into making themselves marketable. It's US exposure and how the US charts work. I looked up some staggering statistics of just like how the UK's charts work, and they are so much better than America's. I know I'm going to kind of go on a little bit of a rant here, but
please do.
It's so Adele got popular in the US, not, and like I said, not her first album. Like, I think the one song that people would know from her first album, just because it charted in the US, is Chasing Pavements. But otherwise, she got popular after the first album was released because she appeared on Saturday Night Live, and a lot of people were tuning into that specific show where she showcased a couple of the songs. Also, check out Make You Feel My Love, which is a cover of a Bob Dylan song. It's beautiful. Go check it out. It's Might be my
That's
favorite Adele
another one
song.
of her. At least.
I also wanted to do that one, but I thought it was too popular. But go check that out. That's my third.
Mhm.
But just she had Saturday Night Live to make herself marketable, and Rag and Bone Man didn't hasn't necessarily had something like that. It's not like his music wouldn't be accessible in the US. Of course it would. There's nothing like that's so weird about it that wouldn't make it marketable in the US. And what you discover in the UK charts, they accept more genres. Rock artists still chart over there. One of the staggering statistics I looked up is Foo Fighters has it. That is an American band. Foo Fighters has 4 US top 40 hits and 22 UK top 40 hits. That is it. That completely blows my mind.
That is crazy.
Yeah. All this rant to say, please do not limit yourself to what the US charts give you, because the US charts will not help you to discover new artists. They will keep feeding you the same stuff you've been listening to when there's other types of music out there that you will like. And it's not like you have to go to foreign language countries. Like, you can look at what's on the UK charts, what's on the Australian charts. Triple J's Hottest 100 is one of the best charts that gives you worldwide what the best songs are in all genres. I think that's the problem is the US has decided that this is what pop music is. And the rest of the world's like, well, pop music is what's ever popular, and a lot of things can be popular. So
Yeah, I agree. And I would echo that. Like, check out other countries' top 40 charts and different stuff, because you'll find a more diverse array of music. But even like, I think what is lost on a lot of American artists or American audiences, I think, is that our top 40 chart, we've sort of like almost been taught that it's like that's the only like music out there. It's like it's almost like the way our charts work, at least to me, is that we have the top 40 pop chart, the top 40 rock chart, the top 40 alternative chart, the top 40 country chart. And so instead of having like one chart that actually looks at what all of the artists and what people are listening to in America, doesn't look at all of it and does that, it separates into like genres. So go and explore the other.
Though, Sam.
And that's what I'm saying, though, is that's the problem. And my encouragement, though, is don't just think that the top 40 pop chart is the only thing popular and good.
Well, but that's exactly it.
American charts.
It's even that, though, is that technically there's the Billboard Hot 100 is the top 40 chart, which should encompass all genres, and there's a separate top 40 pop chart. It's just that usually the top 40 pop chart has 75% of the songs that are also on the Billboard Hot 100, because radio stations decide what is popular and YouTube spits out what is popular. Like, that's the problem, where other artists have a chance in other places because we've put labels on music and pigeonholed artists. And we've also done this thing where, like, we consider, no offense, but Imagine Dragons or Judah the Lion as rock artists when they don't necessarily fit into those categories sometimes. Like, if you see Imagine Dragons and Metallica in the same chart, maybe that's not a great system.
You could be right on that. I mean,
maybe that's not categorizing things correctly, and it's not giving artists a chance to shine. But all I'm saying is, don't be spoon-fed your music. Go search other things, because the second I started doing that, the second I started looking at other charts, other magazines, and articles and websites from different countries, that's when I became more diverse musically. And I'm still recovering from that because of the way the American charts have influenced what I've listened to.
Yeah. So, I mean, really, our core message here together from both of us is you like what you like. So if you enjoy pop music, I mean, keep enjoying it. We're not telling you to stop enjoying it. We're not telling you it's bad. I mean, we can talk about musically interesting and diverse and like different things like that, but that's not what we're talking about right now. Listen to what you enjoy, but don't think that the only things available to enjoy are what's on those pop charts.
Right.
There are wide varieties of music out there that, I mean, really, in my experiences looking at music, I have found that like usually when I listen to pop music, there's like some things that I'm really into in a pop song that I think are great. They sound cool, and I'm like, man, I really love the like style of guitar in this pop song. They did something cool with that. Chances are those things that you really like in like little elements in pop songs that you really enjoy could be hallmarks of entire other genres that you have never heard before. So you like what Imagine Dragons did with their guitars in blank song. There's probably a band or two or a whole little subgenre out there that's what they do. They do that
regularly
well, and that's their, yeah, they do it regularly well. So it's not just a unique thing in one song. If it's something you like, it probably exists out there in other places too for you to keep enjoying.
That's all we're saying. There's other stuff to go explore. And frankly, there's pop music that you probably like in America that's being done somewhere else, maybe even better by a different artist that's not popular in America.
Exactly. There's so many artists out there, like especially British artists, I think are so often forgotten here in America that like, I mean, as far as I'm aware, like one of the biggest rappers in the world right now is Stormzy. And you might be familiar with Stormzy because he was on an Ed Sheeran track in Ed Sheeran's what was it, number 6 collaborations, right?
Slabs.
Yeah, he was on a track in that. He was in Take Me Back to London.
Not a popular US rapper.
Yeah, not a popular rapper in the US, but he does it so excellently that if you're into rap, go check that out. You might find you really enjoy it. We talked about this artist a while ago. You like the pop sound? Tove Sturk out of Sweden does great work, but she has not really charted anywhere, as far as I'm aware, in the US, or at the very least, doesn't have huge popularity because she's Swedish and her popularity stayed out there. And you can go artist by artist by artist. I mean, like folk groups and other rock groups and all these other things that
alternative indie groups that really get screwed by not having a major label, especially in the US. Like, go explore that stuff. Please, just don't be spoon-fed your music anymore. That's what we create this podcast for. Like, explore.
And I would say too, just to re-emphasize this point. Blake, I'm gonna be honest. I'm gonna be honest, Blake. I disagree with your use of the term spoon-fed in this case. I think that's a little bit condescending.
That's fine if you think it's condescending. That's how I think people are.
Hey, and that's fair.
The American charts work because they influence the type of stuff we like, and it doesn't allow us to grow and explore other things.
Yeah, and I would say again, you like what you like. If you enjoy what's on the pop charts, stay there. You like it, do it, enjoy your music. But just also know from us,
you can do that, but also try to maybe you can do both, is what I'm saying.
There you go.
Listen to the US charts, and you can listen to other stuff, but don't just stick with that just because you don't want to get out of your comfort zone. Because getting out of your comfort zone, you might find, is more enriching, is all I'm trying to encourage.
Yeah, you might find that. There's lots of music out there. Enjoy your music, folks.
And some of that music out there is The Weeknd, who will be performing at the Super Bowl halftime show.
That was the lamest transition I've ever heard.
I hate you. Why can't you just go with it? Well, anyways, we are talking about the Super Bowl here. First off, I just gotta say, I hate Tom Brady so much. I have had to sit and watch him for 6 Super Bowls already. And that's only because I was too young to watch the first 3. 6 Super Bowls. Now I gotta watch him for a 7th in a different uniform. And I'm done. I comment below how many touchdowns you think the Chiefs beat Tom Brady by, and if you say the Bucks are gonna win, you can officially unsubscribe from our channel.
Okay. Well, I would like to offer an apology for my co-host here. He has a lot of strong feelings about sports, one of which is his frustration with Tom Brady. Even if you love Tom Brady, stick around. We love
Stick
to have you
around.
here.
I'm sure you'll
We,
probably
I,
love to see me cry when they probably win the Super Bowl this weekend. So, but we're not here
yeah,
to talk about the game. We're here to talk about the halftime show. Sam,
yes.
what do you expect from the Weeknd?
Well, from the Weeknd himself, I mean, as always, I'm expecting to hear lots of his hits. I'm not gonna lie. I mean, anybody out there who's watched football on Sundays knows how many times they play that commercial for the halftime show
It's
with
ridiculous.
everybody jamming out to Blinding Lights. But I'm not gonna lie. Every time I hear that song now, even in that same commercial, I jam out to it a little bit too because I think it's a really fun
I
song.
do love it.
It's
It's a great
it's
song.
it's cool, it's fun, it's upbeat. I kind of like it's just bouncy and fun. So I'm looking forward to hearing that song in it. I'm looking forward to hearing his other hits. I'm looking forward to seeing is he gonna bring any interesting guests artists with him?
You know what? When you just said that, you know who I immediately thought of?
Who?
If he brings Daft Punk, that's gonna be awesome.
Ooh, that could be pretty cool. That could be pretty cool.
Two
I'm
songs they've collabed, like two singles, Starboy and what's the other one? I Feel It Coming. I think we're both with Daft Punk.
Oh, okay. Yeah, so I mean, and those are two, like I know at least Starboy was one of his big hits. So or no, that was the album that had some other big hits on it, was called Starboy.
Yeah, and Starboy was one of the singles released from it.
Yeah. So I mean, even still, I'm no expert on the Weeknd. I like his music. I'm not big into listening to it, but I mean, I'm looking forward to hearing Blinding Lights. I'm looking forward to listening to his other hits. Looking forward to any of those collabs that come out of it. Um,
I
and
think I think he
even
needs
more
to do
so, I
Earned It.
think,
I think Earned It with like an orchestra in the dome would be cool. That would be awesome.
that would be pretty cool. And I want to hear your opinion on this, Blake. So here's something just like what's been rattling around my brain in terms of the halftime show this year is one of the big things that I think has always made a halftime show more exciting is sort of just that like mosh pit, like full on concert atmosphere. Lots of people gathered down on the field, big, like elaborate numbers, everybody pressed together, just jamming to the concert.
Yeah.
But this year, that's not going to happen.
No.
Even the stadium itself is not going to be super full. Like, yeah, they're going to bring people in and there will be a good number of people in the stadium, but they're going to be spread out much more. They're going to be in more like isolated locations. And I just don't think the numbers are there to create a concert atmosphere. So, here, like, if I had to talk about really my dream for what this halftime show becomes, it doesn't have as much of anything to do with the music and more to do with the performance itself. I think they have a really unique and cool opportunity this year to make a like really elaborate, extended, like music video style performance that's more meant for like everybody like much more people than even including the people in the stadium. Almost everybody is watching from home.
So like Justin Timberlake like performance. You remember a
Yeah,
couple of years ago where he was like kind of walking, like he walked all over the stadium, and they kind of captured like a video montage of his hits more than it was like a concert.
exactly. I just don't think a concert is going to work this year just because I think it would be irresponsible for them to gather people like on the field to watch it, and there's just not enough people in the stands to help sell it as a concert. So I think in my opinion, the most exciting version of this that I could foresee happening is more of a like like just like a music video, but a massive like 15 to 20-minute music video that, sure, I hope has maybe a couple live pieces of it out on the field or something cool with that, but is more about creating an experience for everybody who's watching at home that is a much more epic experience than just watching a concert on your screen.
Yeah, I think that would actually be that'd be cool. I would enjoy that. Um, you know, I think we were kind of talking about this too, how the best Super Bowl halftime shows, obviously, like you want to get good songs from the artist, but a lot of it's based on like whether a Super Bowl halftime show is good or not is really based on like the choreography, the setup, like what is going on outside of the music. Because it's almost a given that pretty much any artist outside of the Who, still don't know why that happened, but no one wanted to see 60-year-old Roger Daughtry try to sing his way through the Who's 1960s and 70s hits. But anyways, that pretty much any artist you put up there that's in their prime is going to give you good music. But what are they doing around it? What is the choreography that's going on? How are they being entertainers as opposed to being musicians?
I agree like wholeheartedly on that, which I mean, not to like keep emphasizing this point, but like, which is why I think that this year of all years, it's a cool opportunity to do something more out of the box than just a like, here's the singer and here's some background dancers and maybe here's something going on in a section of the stadium, but that's it. And do more of a like, something going on around the music, I think could be cool.
Yeah. And it'll be cool to see if they incorporate some like virtual stuff too with maybe getting some like the virtual fans at home involved in some way, maybe make it interactive somehow. I don't know. That'd be kind of cool. I've seen how, kind of going a little bit into the sports world, I've seen how sports have adapted in COVID. And one of the things that they've done is the NBA specifically has done this where you can reserve a spot as a fan to still be courtside, and like your image will show up on like a little screen that you're watching the game on, so you get to like be there and cheer. But the other thing so that'd be cool if they could incorporate that in the halftime show. As another thing, every NFL stadium has done is they have pumped artificial noise into the stadiums during games. So I could see how some of that crowd aspect will be replaced with that to make it sound a little bit more like it's normal. I don't know if they will go with that approach.
I see what you're saying, and I personally hope they don't go with that, because I think that just sort of it works during a game. Like people notice it when they show a shot of the stadium, but like if you're just watching the game, you don't necessarily notice that type of thing. But I feel like it would just feel not genuine if they tried to just fake I don't know. Like I said, they have an opportunity to do something different, and I feel like that's just more of the same. But I promise I won't say that point again. I've said it like 4 times, but yeah, anyway, yeah, crowd noise, I could see them maybe doing something with that. It's my personal hope that they don't, though.
Yeah. I don't know. That'll be interesting to see what they do. But I think both of us are very excited to see the Super Bowl halftime show. It's always been a treat. Always full of some random surprises like last year's SpongeBob edition.
Yeah, I remember. Wait, was that last year? That was the year before.
Was it? I don't.
Yeah, last year was J-Lo and Shakira.
Okay,
and
so
I doubt they had anything SpongeBob with that. But I do remember it was like people demanded from home. They're like, if you don't include SpongeBob as a halftime show in the halftime show, we're gonna boycott or something. It was something weird.
So dumb though.
It was dumb. They did it just to appease fans like last second, and it just felt like not fair. And it wasn't even like original SpongeBob material. They just like took a clip, like a 5-second clip from an episode and put it in.
Yeah.
I remember laughing a little bit at it, but then just being like, oh,
Why? Like, what? Yeah, like you laugh and you're like, but why?
why did we?
Okay, moving on, I guess.
Yeah. But
so
anyway, hey, by the way, everyone, if you want to hear our reaction to the halftime show, which we know it hasn't happened yet, unless you're watching this like on Monday or something, hasn't happened yet at the time of release. Tune in to us again next Thursday, just like how last week we did a little reaction to Olivia Rodrigo's driver's license, which, by the way, check that video out if you haven't already.
Weird.
Check it out. It's a fun video. Just like how we did that last week, next week, we're going to release another short little 10, 15-minute video like we did before, reacting to the Super Bowl halftime show. We'll tell you our highlights from it, what we liked, what we didn't like, what surprised us, all sorts of things like that. So tune in next week for another little video follow up to this one.
Yes, that'll be a nice music major moment. But in the meantime, Sam, I believe we'd like to tell the audience our halftime hopefuls. So these are artists that Sam and I would like to perform in the Super Bowl halftime show in the future. Sam clearly hates my awesome titles for these things.
You know, I mean, I love alliteration, but goodness, I mean, it's like the amount of times I say music major meltdown, that's enough alliteration.
You're the worst co-host ever. Anyways, our halftime hopefuls are artists that we believe have the stardom to actually land the Super Bowl halftime show, and also the type of music and the type of performance capabilities to do well at the halftime show. So Sam, I don't know if would you like to go first with your halftime hopefuls?
Sure. I'll go first with a couple of mine. I mean, I think let's tie in a little bit with some of the stuff we talked about earlier. I would like to see, just in general, just a more diverse array of artists. That we get a lot of, like the Katy Perry's, which is great. I love Katy Perry. I thought her halftime show was really interesting, and definitely, like, it had that spectacle factor.
It had the spectacle factor. It almost, you wonder if that took away a little bit from the music, just with words. But
I think the halftime show, like, something to remember with it is it's as much performance as it is music,
if not more performance.
Yeah, because I can't remember the last time I watched a halftime show and they actually did a full version of the song. I feel like more often than not, they do like a verse and a chorus, and then they move on to the next song.
And actually, that's an interesting anecdote. Just for those of you that don't know, I believe the time they have in the Super Bowl to set up, perform, and tear down everything is 20 minutes. It might be 25. But that's not just the performance. That includes the setup and the tearing down of the whole stage, and getting people on and off the field has to happen so swiftly that it's not worth it to perform a full song. It just isn't.
Yeah, absolutely. Like, I think about one of my favorites as a kid, and I don't know if I think there's some debate as to whether or not this was really that great of a performance. But one of my favorites as a kid, the first halftime show I really remember enjoying, was the Black Eyed Peas. I loved their performance. It was just so, like, bright and colorful and fun outfits. The music was cool. But I'm looking at this, I pulled up the set list just out of curiosity for what they performed and how much they performed. And I mean, they did 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. They did 8 songs in their probably like 15-ish minute performance. And that's not to mention, like, bringing on Slash was there. They did Sweet Child of Mine with Slash. I mean, what a random moment. And then Usher was also there. Usher and will.i.am did a little bit together.
That makes way more sense than Slash.
Yeah, I know. But I mean, yeah. So anyway,
too, so.
Yeah, that's true. I mean, but tying it all back together, I mean, I'd like to see just a more diverse array of artists. The pop artists we get are always usually fantastic and they do a good spectacle. And, you know, they're popular and people enjoy their music. So I don't blame the halftime show for going that direction. But
And
I mean, I think about the little bit I've seen from, for example, AJR did this virtual live performance that I've seen a little bit here and there from. And I mean, it's almost indistinguishable from what a halftime show could be.
do you
Just
think
like a
they have
longer
the
form.
popularity enough yet to land that?
I wish, oh, to land it, no. I think there's people out there who love them enough that it's possible. And I will say, coming out in March, they have a new album coming out. So if crossing my fingers, maybe if that album blows up, there's a chance. They've gotten on the pop charts, even I think a little bit here and there,
Yeah.
but I don't think they as much have a chance at that, which I mean breaks my heart. But let's see, realistically, who would I like to see as part of the halftime show? You know, Blake, I need a couple more seconds to think. What did you bring to the table? Inspire me.
First thought was, I think one of the things I'd really love to do is to see a rock band get a chance to have a good halftime show. And I was thinking about it because the last time a rock band really headlined and put on a great halftime show was U2. And it was right after 9/11. And so it was a very solemn moment for the country, which is interesting that an Irish band did such a touching tribute for America in that time, but they did, especially because they have a lot of songs that are about war and famine and kind of recovering from loss. And so they did this like great memorial. So the argument's been maybe because U2 was there at the right time in the right place, that's why it worked for a rock band. And we have said so much about the performance, the choreography, the whatever. So it's hard when you only have 5 instrumentalists to fill a stage. So I thought maybe why not have just like a bunch of bands in a multi-powered attack, and you do Foo Fighters and Friends. So Dave Grohl is like probably the
more alliteration. More alliteration.
I didn't do it on purpose.
Foo Fighters and Friends.
Whatever. Foo Fighters and Friends. But Dave Grohl is like such a big figure in the pop world, especially times like these was used as a charity COVID relief song and charted, I think, #1 in the UK. They got like a bunch of different pop and rock artists and whatever, and did this huge charity song of a cover of a Foo Fighters song that Dave Grohl was involved in. So I think they have the international popularity to be able to pull this off. And you could get them, you could bring back Kirsten Novoselic from Nirvana. Maybe they would perform a Nirvana song. I don't know, because Dave's kind of about that. You could get the members of Queens of the Stone Age, which I talked about in a previous podcast, and you can get, you know, some other bands. You can almost make it like a Ringo Starr and his all-star band kind of thing, but with like the more modern rock people, where you were having, and so you could have like, you could fill the stadium, because I think that's the problem with rock artists is they don't fill the stadium. And so when their music has to drive everything home, it's hard for them to take over a performance when you have one guy just trying to be the showstopper for everyone instead of a whole like choreographed dance with them. So you need to somehow augment them by other dancers and stuff that are able to follow along with a band instead of a pre-recorded track, which I know is harder, and that's why we see pop artists do better. But I think if the rock band were to work ever again in the Super Bowl, Foo Fighters would be the one to do it. But my pop artist that I think is a surefire win is Childish Gambino. I don't think there is a single way that Donald Glover could screw that show up. He is an amazing dancer. He's got international hits. People love Childish Gambino. It'd be awesome. You could perform This Is America, Redbone, Feels Like Summer. There'd be a lot of good stuff that you could do with Childish Gambino. And a lot of you can get Ariana Grande in there because she guest artist on one of his songs. You can get a couple
There you go.
others. Gary Clark Jr. worked on one of his albums with him, so you'd have like a good guest star clout in there too. So I think he'd be a perfect artist for it.
You know, I agree with that. I think he would be a really good one. And that, I think, is perhaps the best, most realistic version. The one thing I would have, though, didn't he kind of confirm that this recent album was his last?
He said that, and then I think he's actually reneged since.
Oh, okay. Well, hey, I don't
He said
follow all
something like
news
his
related to.
next musical project will be his biggest, and that was recently, I believe.
Oh, well,
Yeah,
there you go.
yeah. I was like so pumped. I'm like, let's go.
All right, I like it. I like it. You know, real quick, I got my, I thought about it, and I just realized I had the biggest idea. And again, like I
Yes.
want to emphasize the term hopeful on this. Okay, like we talked about
Rag'n'Bone Man
halftime.
featuring Stick in the Dump. Stick up the dump.
No. Opposite direction. I'm going to take a little inspiration from Taylor Swift's Bad Blood music video that was absolutely jam-packed with stars across the whole video. And lots of which were stars in the music industry as well. But taking my inspiration from there, I think it could be, like, again, hopeful. It could be a more engaging show to have just like pop powerhouse show. I say hopeful, again, emphasizing that because there's no way, even with the NFL's massive budget, they could afford to bring in tons and tons of A-list stars.
They probably could.
It would be,
they agree to do it because so many people have boycotted the NFL. That's why they've had a hard time getting people.
Oh, well, that's interesting. But I mean, I'm just imagining, like, imagine just the transitions between like starting with a Taylor Swift, then Ariana Grande comes out, then Selena Gomez, then like, oh goodness, then like somebody with the powerhouse stuff of, I mean, I know he's doing it this year, but like the Weeknd, and they just keep like adding and transitioning in
Post
and
Malone.
between. Post Malone, like they just bring like all these powerhouse people in to do this performance, that it's not just anymore this like one, like for once, just 1 year. It's not just a here's one artist with maybe some guest appearances. It's like we're just delivering the most epic concert, most A-lister, top tier concert that anyone could imagine. Just drawing in and in and in and in until eventually you have one last song that they just all like blast together on stage. I don't know. Again,
so basically, you're just describing the Super Bowl halftime show how it normally is, except instead of like 3 or 4 artists, you're saying like 10 to 20 different artists.
Honestly, yes. And the difference being there is no one center point artist to it. That it's not like it's not like how you said Foo Fighters and Friends. Like it wouldn't be like Taylor Swift and Friends. It would just be even billing for like 10 different artists.
That'd be interesting. I don't know. Like that's one of the things I think is part of the appeal is they're having a headliner, but maybe not. I don't know.
Yeah, and you know, I mean, maybe that's what draws a lot of people in. I feel like at this case, it would be if they make them all even and a smaller role, then they can all be headliners. So it's like there is no one artist. Like, yeah, you're not going to see any artist for the full 10 minutes.
So they're all tailliners.
Oh God! All right, you get my point.
Say one thing. I think they've been trying to get Taylor Swift for like 3 or 4 years.
I mean, she would have.
And I don't know if it's like they haven't offered her enough money or she just hasn't wanted to do it, but I'm pretty sure Taylor Swift's been on top of everyone's bucket list of the Super Bowl halftime show for years. Like, obviously, she's the most ideal artist. She's the most universally popular artist in America. Like, I would assume so, just with her expansive chart history, how long it goes back, and how consistently high everything she does charts.
Yeah.
She would be I mean, she would be choice across everything.
Yeah, I was gonna say it's surprising that she hasn't been in it. I mean, like Katy Perry, like not this year, but at the year she did it, that was one of her peak years. Like
Yeah.
many top 40 songs she had within the last like year or two.
So I don't know. Maybe we'll see Taylor Swift eventually do it, but
Maybe.
until then, leave your predictions for the Weeknd's halftime show, and also, if you want, your Super Bowl predictions in the comments. But otherwise, I have been Blake.
I have been Sam, and thanks for joining us, everybody. Join us in a couple weeks.
Yeah, join us next week for the Super Bowl halftime review. Otherwise, have a great week, everyone. See you guys later.
Yeah. Enjoy the big game.
Woo! Thank you so much for tuning in. We hope you guys enjoyed the video.
If you haven't already, make sure to hit that subscribe button and click on the bell for notifications whenever we drop a new video.
See you next time on Music Major Meltdown.